Alright, so I haven't really uploaded in a while, because I'm kind of a bum and lazy and really busy, which is a horrible combination for trying to get anything done. So I'm going to talk to myself for a bit while I'm doing some menial work. And as you guys can tell from the title of this video, it's probably going to be pretty interesting. I'm going to have to explain myself a bit. Um, the title I'm thinking of while recording this is Why I Broke Up with My Girlfriend for Trying to Go to a Hardware Store with Me. I think that'll get a lot of people's attention and not make them mad at me. I don't think the feminist crowd is going to really come after me for saying that I broke up with a girl for trying to go in a hardware store with me. That was a joke. Curb, chill, I'm rage baiting. Niche word. So anyway, I started talking to this girl, and we had I'm gonna reveal as little as possible to avoid outing anybody or causing drama. We'll call her Veronica, same name my first car had. Hopefully that doesn't make me look like a loser saying that I named my car, but I started going out with Veronica. Or no, I didn't start going out with her at this point. Veronica and I we were kind of snapping and chatting each other. We had met a couple times in real life, but our schedules, didn't really overlap at all, so we weren't talking very much. And, yeah, so we're chilling. We're just, kind of buddies. Sorry, I had to grab something. So we're buddies. We're snapping and chatting. And, I talked to a couple other people. No one, not really that I'm dating or anything, but at this point, I'm not thinking of Veronica as somebody I certainly am going to go out with. She's the one. I'm more oh yeah, we're friends, kind of like an acquaintance. But I am gainfully single. I don't know how to use the word gainfully, but I heard gainfully unemployed, and I liked it. So, yeah, I'm single. We're texting every now and then for 2 months. We've got our snap streak. Sometimes we'll have a little conversation. And then this was in high school. We start coming up to homecoming. So, your boys out here shoot, I need a date for homecoming. There's this girl I've been talking to. I'm she probably might maybe, probably say yes. And she really liked coffee. Maybe I can give more context on why I made the following choices later. But she really liked coffee. Well, here's the context, actually. We would just call it bean juice, because, coffee comes from coffee beans. So anyway, she really likes coffee. And I have a mug with me. And I kind of grew up, my mom and I would sometimes, with my siblings, we would paint mugs. You can get a paint marker and then stick a mug in the oven. And you can make a real nice little custom mug. So I borrowed some paint markers from my sister without asking. She was fine with it. I asked her later. I asked forgiveness. And I wrote on the mug, I've been meaning to ask you something. Veronica, will you go to homecoming with me? And I'm oh, yeah, I thought this was so cool. And on my way to, in preparation, I need to get coffee beans to put in the mug, because that's part of the visual appeal. So I didn't really know where to buy beans from until I figured out you can buy them at Starbucks. I called a local florist and I asked if they sold beans, and they were like, "What?" I think they thought I was prank calling them. So anyway, I went to yonder Starbucks and I said, "Can I buy this bag of beans?" And they were like, "Sure." They asked if I wanted them ground, and I was like, "No." So I think they looked at me like I was kind of weird, but and then I forget why, she said I owed her coffee or something. I guess she we were coworkers. I think she took my shift at one point, and she was like, "Well, you just have to buy me coffee." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I texted her again, and I was like, "Hey, do I still owe you coffee?" And she was like, "I guess so," I think is what she said. So, I was like, "Well, when are you free?" And she was like, "I'm free on this day." I remember it was like, I think it was the weekend. It was in September, I think, and it was like the weekend was the 6th and the 7th of the month. So I was like, "Ha ha ha, 6, 7, let's get coffee." And she was like, "Ha ha 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 ha, okay," something like that, something stupid. And so we go, and I drive a very non-conspicuous silver town and country at this point. So of course she's not gonna spot my car when I pull up to the Starbucks. So I'm in the car and I'm getting out the mug and putting the coffee beans in it. And of course she sees my car and comes up to me and is like, she's like staring through my window and she just sees me holding this cup full of beans and I'm like, oh, I might need to pick up the pace a bit. I've only got 15 minutes of Minecraft to put in the background. So anyway, you know, we go, we get, or shoot, I'm losing my train of thought. She sees the mug, and I get out of the car, and I'm like, hi. And I just kind of hand her this mug full of beans, and she says, thanks. And then she reads it, and then she reads it again, and then she smiles, and she looks at me, and she's like, wow, yeah, of course. Then she's like, now I gotta think of how to ask you to my homecoming. So then, we get coffee and stuff. We sit there for like 3 hours. After that, we go to a dollar store. The rest, it's not really important. If there's a lesson to be learned, not really in context of this story, but in general, I was only supposed to meet with her for like an hour, I think. And I ended up being with her for like 8 hours. She invited me to her house to watch Legally Blonde after, and I stayed for dinner and met her family. And then we ended up dating because she was like, what are we? And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, okay, we're dating now. And so if there's a lesson to be learned here, it is not to rush things like that. That probably would have avoided me the awkward conversation we're getting to about the hardware store. So, I need to find my snare wires. So, we're dating. It's going pretty solidly for a while. There are a couple red flags, but we've been dating for like a month, and I'm in high school and I'm lonely, so I'm like, whatever. Red's my favorite color, or something stupid like that. So then, yeah, we're dating. We go to homecoming. We have a pretty good time. We go to her homecoming and have a pretty good time. We go to my homecoming. We have a pretty good time. And then it gets to around Thanksgiving. This is where I'm going to start losing a lot of audience support here. She told me she was having like a Friendsgiving at her house, and I was like, okay, yeah, I should go to my girlfriend's Friendsgiving. So, I plan on going. I don't really feel like going the day of because, we've been having like some awkward times lately, and just like she's kind of pushy, and I'm kind of starting to like not be so into that and not think it's cute after 2 months. I think this is 2 months in, and so there. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a reason to leave because I'm just really uncomfortable, and it turns out it wasn't Friendsgiving, it was her whole extended family's giving. So I'm trying to get out, and I can't think of an excuse. But I've got a percussion ensemble just started up, so I'm like, and the director, story for another time, he's a butthole, but he was like, you need to go buy a bucket of this size, and it's got to have this kind of tone so that we can use it for this piece where we need to play a bucket. Very cool piece, actually. It was Flotsam and Jetsam. I forget who it's by, but Anyway, I'm gonna go to Lowe's to buy a steel bucket so that we can practice this piece in percussion ensemble and I won't get slimed out by my whiplash director. And yeah, like I said, I'm looking for a way to get out. I need to go buy a bucket. So I tell her, okay, I'm gonna go to Lowe's. She lives like half an hour away from my house. That'll be important. And she's like, okay, I'll come with you. And I'm like, oh, no, I can't drive past 10 o'clock. You know, I don't want to make you do that and leave your family. And she's like, no, it's no problem. She wasn't too attached to her family. So she tells me, you know, like, she'll come with me. We're going to go to Lowe's together. And I was like, no. There's no time because I can't drive past 10, being on a restricted license. And she's like, no, there's time. If you drive there and back to my house is half an hour, and then an hour home, and you have an hour and a half. We have half an hour to go around Lowe's and find you a bucket. And I was like, no. And she was like, what? That's not how it went. I talked her out of it somehow. I was like, look, I really need to do this, and then I have homework, and we're running out of time. And it was a Sunday night, and she's like, okay. And we go out to my car, and she's gonna say goodbye, and she's like, well, I wish I could have gone with you. And I'm like, yeah, what if we stopped dating? And she just looks at me, and she's like, what? And I'm like, she said, that was a joke, right? And I was like, no. And she was like, why? And I was like, I pulled out the famous white boy card. I was like, I'm just not really in a good mental spot for a relationship right now. And she was like, okay. And I was like, do you want your hoodies back? Because, you know, being the smooth guy that I was, I had all of her hoodies in my car with me. Because I was planning on breaking up with her already, kind of. Just the inciting incident kind of was, you know, she wouldn't say no to going to Lowe's. Or she wouldn't, like, she wouldn't just let me go to the hardware store. That'll work. Which is, you know, kind of frustrating, I guess. So, but, she didn't take her hoodies back. She was very confused. She walked back in the house, and a little bit of added context. I have about 2 more minutes, so I can add some fun in here. I got my hoodie back, or I got one of my hoodies back. She had a lot of my hoodies, but I got one of them back before I left by, I told her I had a spirit week at school, and it was for, wear your favorite band merch, and she had a hoodie of mine that was from Polaris's Fatalism album. It said Eternal Fear is a Fate Worse Than Death on it. So I was like, yeah, I need that for Spirit Week. Can I borrow it? Because, you know, she's like, I own your hoodies. Which I guess people do that. But, so I borrow it, and I go. Yeah, I basically lied to her to get my hoodie back. So I'm not entirely the good guy in this situation. But there's other stuff, like those of you who have Life 360. She was constantly monitoring my Life 360, making me really uncomfortable. At first, I was kind of, like, blinded to it. I was like, aw, that's so sweet. She wants to know I'm safe. But then after a point, I was like, she's tracking my location more than my mom is. I need help. And, yeah, so I guess moral of the story is don't bring your girl to a hardware store. Don't date people named Veronica. Anyone named Veronica, don't take that personally. Veronica is a fake name. Just to reiterate, no beef with anyone named Veronica. I am single, so people named Veronica, you can, like, comment your phone numbers or something. But that's gonna do it for today. Not a ton of context in that story. Still kind of working out this script thing, but, that leaves a lot of plot holes I can fill in future videos. So I hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and comment down below more fake names I can use for other people I know.